My wife Gloria and I wanted a healthier lifestyle and more creativity in our everyday lives, and we felt it was time to prioritize ourselves and our health. We lived in a nice apartment near the forest in a quiet neighborhood with great hiking opportunities. We were tired of city life and got bored when we stayed home. We missed opportunities to challenge ourselves and realized the various projects we constantly discussed. Quite simply, we missed living in the countryside. I worked as a manager in a manufacturing company and enjoyed my job, but I wanted to take care of my health while seeing the workload steadily increase. It was a development I didn't want to be part of. Gloria ran her own cleaning agency with hectic days that, in the end, completely wore her out. We couldn't continue like that. We actually had to stop taking weekend trips out into nature because we found it too depressing to return home to everyday life from what we loved most. After we got married in 2015, we asked ourselves, what do we want from our lives? Humans are meant to live in harmony with nature, care for nature and the animals around them, grow their own food, become as self-sufficient as possible, and use the resources available around them, reuse and repair, and not be part of a throwaway society. Simply having a slow-living lifestyle. We quickly settled on the idea of acquiring a homestead, regardless of location. At that time, it was far from realistic for us to buy one. We started looking at listings and worked on them daily. We established routines for checking which homesteads were put up for sale and evaluated them systematically. We got to know the market and figured out what we could expect to get for the funds we had available. We made a list of criteria the homestead should meet and prioritized it by importance. It was a long list of requirements and wishes. Every summer vacation, we planned our trips to areas where we could attend viewings of one or more homesteads, and to regions where we thought it would be nice to live and run a homestead. We put up notes in local shops saying we were looking for a homestead to buy. That's how we continued for several years, visiting large parts of Norway in this way. We kept feeding the dream, and it grew and became more realistic with each passing year. Eventually, we knew exactly what we wanted and what we needed. We also received great help from the Norwegian Agricultural Advisory Service, which created a management plan for us and assessed what requirements the homestead had to meet to enable beef production and what it would cost us. The size of the property and the arable land were the most important factors for optimal operation. To understand the roots of the dream of living in the countryside, we have to go even further back into our past and childhood, where the first feelings are formed and personality develops. Gloria grew up on a homestead in a little coastal village. They grew their own vegetables and fruit. They didn't have much land but managed to use it efficiently. Her father worked on a fishing boat most of his life, but he also spent much of his free time at sea to provide fish for the family. Gloria quickly learned the various tasks, daily routines, and not least how to fish. We also learned from her father how to prepare and smoke fish, which was very exciting. I also grew up on a homestead, but in the inland region. We lived in a 200-year-old house that was part of a former manor complex destroyed during World War II. My father worked in an agricultural collective, and I spent a lot of time with him during my childhood. At home, we grew our own vegetables, had cattle, and had to harvest hay for them for the winter. In the summertime, we were outdoors all the time, working on various tasks and projects. I have a brother, and together we built a playhouse over several years. All of this gave us the foundation to be creative, the willingness to persevere, and to take care of what we have around us. In later years, Gloria and I worked with potatoes for a farmer. There, we also helped sell vegetables at the market, which gave us insight into how the market works. After several losing bidding rounds to acquire a homestead, we finally managed to buy our dream homestead. The sales prospectus was very detailed, and we had visited similar places before, so we thought it looked fine and bought the homestead site unseen due to the long distance from our then current home. In reality, we ended up in the middle of the wilderness. The homestead still met all the criteria on our list, and we got the fantastic view over the water as an extra bonus. We moved onto the homestead in the summer of 2024 and started clearing the land. We cleared overgrown fields with a tractor, and last summer we were already able to produce roughage. We have dug up old machinery and other treasures around the property, including an old plow that we repaired enough to plow the fields with. We built a greenhouse and finally got to grow our own organic vegetables, something we had long dreamed of. Eventually, we also acquired quail and are now self-sufficient with eggs. Much of our free time has been spent picking berries, mushrooms, and fishing. All through winter and summer, we had to carry drinking water from the nearest stream, but recently this fall we drilled a new well and now have plenty of good quality water in the house. Last winter we struggled with snow clearing using the small snow blower, but this year I'm driving a snowplow truck and so far the snow hasn't been any challenge. Moving from the city to a homestead in the wilderness was one of the best decisions we've made in life so far. Everyday life is now much calmer. We take much better care of our health. We're surrounded by the nature we love so much, and we can finally bring our creative ideas to life and follow our dream, simply to live as human beings. As the Kilcher family from Alaska has said, "Life is simple, life is good when you living like you should." We've already accomplished a lot since moving to the homestead, but there's still plenty left to do, and we have many exciting projects planned, like repairing the barn and getting into cattle farming. Let us know if you would like more details about any of our stories. Thanks for watching and follow us for upcoming episodes.